Families that are impoverished, that are dealing with a culture and a language barrier, are already behind in accessing education or helping their children navigate the educational system in person. And so in a distance learning model, you're asking those very same people to now learn how to navigate technology. If life is a game board, the children that we're talking about in this interview today, they often start at the very beginning of the board with always hitting some setback squares when they're trying to navigate the board. Whereas maybe other families in society, they start a third of the way up the board and they're constantly hitting all the right squares that help them kind of like jump ahead. We have this interface with our student information system. It's called Parent View, and it basically allows parents to like log in and see a catalog of assignments per subject, per class. The parents who rely on physical communication only are not being able to communicate with instructors. And then on top of that is, I think that culturally, a lot of my immigrant families are not prepared to deal with the emotional and mental weighing down of students that are sort of experiences fatigue and distance learning. Let's just call it what it is. I think a lot of children are experiencing stints of depression. We give referrals to kids to a wellness center, and we have clinicians that are now reaching out to like students and families about having a clinician to check in with. So that's happening. But again, that's happening via Zoom. Our immigrant families often have so much other stuff on their plate. American families are able to dedicate a great deal of priority to education because they're not just surviving. When a kid is struggling academically but shows up physically to school, the school community can put their arms around that student and then be able to meet with parents and sign a kid up for tutoring and go to class and make sure that, you know, students are actually in class. I think it's easy for children to check out if nobody's there to micromanage. Parents were able to continue work from home, just upper working middle class folks that didn't experience a great deal of financial disruption to their lifestyle versus families that were basically hacked off at the knee and experiencing food and living insecurity all within a span of 6 weeks. That is like hitting a spot on the game board where like you have to start over. You don't get to continue on in this session of the game. You have to wait till everybody finishes playing, then you get to play in the next game. That's the equivalent of what COVID has done to Black and brown families.